Hey, beautiful people. I know I had got online and said that I was going to be posting a video the same day. That was about a couple of days ago. But on this channel, I do not want to get on or make a video when I am in a bitter state. This channel is called Live Beautifully, not because I want to hide the ugly pieces of what I'm going through and things of that nature. That's not why I didn't get on. I didn't make a video because I did not want to maximize my problems without coming up with a solution first. And so what I had to do was go ahead, I just had to take some time to work through what I was feeling, because guys, healing is definitely a journey. It's not a straight, it's not a you don't always go linear. It's back and forward motion before you actually get to the finish line. Nonetheless, you will get to the finish line, I do believe. So I said that to say healing is hard. It's not easy, which is why most people don't choose to do it, or they choose not to heal, because it takes you looking at yourself, it takes you being honest with yourself, and it takes a lot of self-acceptance and willingness to move forward, and it takes a lot of patience with yourself. So what I have been dealing with these past couple of days was rejection. And so I know in my last serious sit down video, I expressed having to let people go, and how when you are a person that has been rejected, it is easy for you to hold on to people because you don't want to be alone. And so one of the things when I had left my hometown that God magnified was codependency in me. And so I knew that I was a codependent person, and I had to work on being alone. And so it scared me, because I was like, God, how are you going to work on codependency? Which I don't know what the actual definition of codependency is, but for me, what codependency looks like was in relationships, I needed my partner or a person to consistently validate me, or I needed to consistently hear from them in a way that would have me secure with my position or my place in their life. And so it was like I needed that person or persons to feel secure in myself. I needed communication in a way that was unhealthy from people to feel confident and okay. So like just to expound a little bit, there was a person that I was in relations with, and it was romantically, what is that? And when I didn't hear from that person, I would call that person's phone, like, I call that person's phone like 200 and sometimes in one sitting. Like, I just kept on, when they didn't answer, it was something in me. When that person did not answer the phone, I would go into panic mode, and then it just wasn't good. And then when that person was not in my life, I felt anxious and sick, like I just needed them to survive. Hence, that was my codependency. That was, however they treated me was fine. I just, as long as they were in my life, as long as I could call on that person, I was okay. And so God began to show me that he was dealing with that area in my life. And it made me sad, because I was like, God, how could you allow me to grow up in situations that left me feeling rejected and then tell me that you need me to be alone for a season. And it just bothered me. And so fast forward, so I'm living here and I'm doing good, learning how to live on my own and, not have people call and, check on me or be in relations with, different people. I was starting to get the hang of being by myself. I even, had that, y'all seen the video where I let a couple of people go and that was fine and that was cool. So I'm thinking that, hey, I'm getting a hang of this. I'm getting a hang of this thing. And so there comes a point where I started building a friendship with a person, and I wanted more than a friendship from this person. And it's nothing wrong with that. But the issue that I started having and granted, this person, I don't know, maybe their intentions weren't good and maybe they were. But the codependency started to creep back up because it was like I couldn't, it's like I only have the ability to sprint in certain relationships, the ones that I truly want, to remain in my life. I don't have the ability to run a marathon with people. And so needless to say, that relationship went south real quick. Soon as my feelings turned over and I started placing demands on this person, regardless if they had good intentions or not. As a healed person, you ought to be able to hold your ground and be solid within yourself, whether they have good intentions or not. You ought to be able to be at peace with yourself, whether they have good intentions or not. And so when that relationship kind of faded out, it took me back to this place. And see, this is when I realized that I wasn't healed, because I started going back to I hate my daddy. Like, I hate my dad. I hate my dad. Like, that's all I could think about. Because let me give you some backstory about the relationship with my father and I. Y'all, I'm in the car because I do have other stuff to do. So when I was a kid, so I have 3 brothers on my mom's side, and I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers on my dad's side. One of my brothers shared the same mother and father as me, right? So when I was a kid, my father had relationships with all of his children, right? Except me. We had a relationship, but like, we would speak to each other. He would come around when he came around, but he never allowed me to go and be with my other siblings. But he would come and pick my brother up, and he would pick my brother up, and he would have my other siblings with him, and they built a relationship like that. Now when I talk to my siblings now, they say that it's not what I think, that they don't have the relationship with my dad that I think that they had, or it wasn't as good as I imagined it would have been. And granted, I get that. But what hurt me was that my dad would pick my brother up and have my other siblings, but he would leave me. And so it hurt me to the core, and it just made me feel so unworthy. It made me feel so unworthy as a child, so rejected. Even growing up as a woman, I just felt so rejected. It was different things that I had been through in my life that I needed my father to be there, and I just did not have the protection that every girl needs from their father. And so that rejection, it comes up every time when I have relationships, and I'm gonna just say it, with men. And as long as I got them in the friend zone, as long as they friends, I can be a friend to a man. But when it comes to transitioning over to running that marathon and really drawing a process out to see if it's something that I want, or if it's something that really works together, I can't do it. I get anxious. I feel, unworthy. And it all stems from my father not being in my life. And so I was angry. I was angry because I just felt like if my dad just had been there, if he had just protected me, if he would have just loved me, if he would have shown interest in me like he did his other children, maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't be the way that I am today. Like, guys, I've been through, certain things in my life. Okay, I had to take a little because I do not be want to cry. But, and then I know people say things like, that was your childhood, you should just get over it. And yes, granted, that was my childhood, and maybe it should not bother me. And which, in all actuality, I be thinking that I'm over it. Like, in real life, I be thinking that I'm over it and I'm going on with my life. But when you chit-chatting, with your little boo thing, or your baby, or your, babe, whatever you choose, whatever you say you wanna call your person, and then maybe they call you, or maybe they wait an hour or 2 hours after you text them to text you back, and your subconscious is telling you, just like your daddy didn't want you around, they don't want you around. You can be a great person, y'all, because I think, that, I can cook, I can clean, I can, I can do, things. It's just something in my brain that it don't want me to be free in that area. But yeah, a little sidebar for parents. Parents, if your children tell you something bothers you or something bothers them, they're not pointing the finger at you. They're simply stating their reality. They're stating what they've been through. They're stating what hurt them. Just because it hurt them, we know, as grown adults, when we come into that, when we become mature, we realize that y'all been through things, which is what caused you all to, hold on, let's talk about that, because some people might not know. Your parents, I'm not on here to bash my parents. That's not what this is about, because I know both of my parents did the best that they could. I know that it was stuff that happened before them that took place that caused them to be whatever it was that they were, or that they weren't, for that matter. And I accept that, and I appreciate that. But what I am gonna say is when your child, your grown child, come to you and tell you that this hurt them. They just stating their reality. They don't want you to fix it. But the worst thing that you can do is tell them to get over it, or they shouldn't feel like that, because nobody can tell you how to feel about what you experienced. Let's acknowledge it and let's move forward. But to say that it didn't exist, or to say that it didn't happen like that, or to say that you should be over it, like that's just another blow to the wound. That's another blow to the you just hurting that person all over again, that you not validating their feelings once again, especially when they've been rejected, or they feel like they've never been seen, or they've never been heard. You're doing the same thing. It's the same thing. So that is what I was dealing with. But I was talking to Mom about this, and we did get into it a little bit, but one thing that she did say to me that brought this thing full circle is, excuse me, she said, you expecting people to have been everything to you, when the only person that can be everything to you is God. And so maybe, and I don't think I ever tried this before, I'm gonna try to let God be my daddy. Or I'm gonna just try it. The Bible say try them out and see. Oh, taste and see. And so I'm gonna give it a look. I'm gonna taste it, y'all. I'm gonna taste it and I'm gonna see. And in about 3 months, because I told the Lord, me and the Lord already talked about this. I told him I'm gonna taste and see that daddy thing for about 3 months. I'm gonna get this thing 3 months, y'all. Cause you know how when in my mind, your daddy is supposed to be your savior, your hero. When you call your daddy and say, "Daddy, I need this," in my mind, he gonna give it to you. You know, he's your protector. He's your provider. He's, that's your first connect. That's your first understanding of how you're supposed to be treated by men. So, y'all, I'm going to try this thing out for 90 days. And I'm going to see how it go. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to let y'all know how this thing worked out. If I get rich in 90 days, so be it. So be it. But I am gonna try. And y'all, that's all. I don't know how beautiful this was today, but this your girl lived beautifully. And that's all I got. I'll talk to y'all later.